It's like a first time thing. I don't know.
Have you not done an episode yet?
No.
Nice.
You're my first.
I'm the guinea pig. So what's your plan? What are you going to do?
You talking with this?
Mm-hmm. The graphic looked great.
The
graphic looked great.
You mean the picture of myself
I
with...
was like, fuck yeah, I'll listen to that.
Okay, so you got to pull that microphone closer to you, first of all. Second of all, I actually have no...
you have no outline here.
No outline. There's no
Great.
fancy intro music. I don't have any sort of like lead into it.
Yeah.
I just want to pick up on what we started talking about in your whiskey room the other day, which
What were we talking about? Oh, internets.
Yeah, but also the approach, because we're in two different sides of the business in terms of entertainment and creative stuff, but really having a drastic approach of you being kind of hands off when it comes to the internet or not sharing anything, and then me adopting this new over the last few months of just fucking post everything and share everything and give every secret away and start ranting on Twitter and shit. And yet behind the scenes we're actually very much the same person.
Right.
Like we want to stay home and
do
chill.
nothing. Watch Sherlock.
But you told me that you see it, not my stuff personally, but the people who are out there all the time, like ranting and raving and pushing it as like a negative thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
And so
why.
talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know why that feels negative to you, like what that does to you personally.
So, like, how do you want to start? Do you want to, like, give context to the conversation? Or
no, just roll.
Cool. No, I just don't want to be I don't want to be a brand or a persona. I don't... and that's usually what bothers me about it. And what doesn't bother me about you, I know you.
Right.
And you're just being completely yourself. Like, I don't feel a divide between Sean on Instagram or Twitter and then hanging out with you. I feel like for a long time I was very sherry. I was in, like, for my teenage years, I was so opinionated and like, what are you talking about, kid? Like, you don't know anything. So I've been very ranty and I've been very oversharey. And I think the danger of that is like this idea of like live by the sword, die by the sword of like, I think there has been moments in my life that have been really terrible and painful. And everyone still feels the same access and permission to you in those times as they do in the times where you're like freaking crushing it.
So letting people in means they have full-time access.
Yeah, and so I think I just want to be choosy.
Yeah.
About what I share. So now I just share the work.
And that keeps you inspired? Keeps you motivated?
I just don't want it to have anything to do with anything, social media. Like I feel like it had so much weight for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to have any weight on the work, on my feeling towards the work. That's just what I want people to know about me. Like what really threw me off, and it sounds dumb, but I was on tour in Oregon, and I was playing guitar for this, singer-songwriter. It wasn't a VEAUX trip. I was just a hired gun, but someone knew that I was playing for this guy, and this fan of VEAUX comes to the show and is just like, oh my gosh, how's your new house? How's your wife? Mm-hmm. How's Kingsley? How's all of this stuff? Just starts listing off all these things that she knows about me. And I wasn't mad because it's stuff that I'm giving.
Sharing, you're giving.
Yeah, I'm giving it out to the world. But as soon as she walked away, I just felt violated. I was just in the sense of, you knew so much about me, and I knew nothing about you. Yeah, nothing. And it is still that way. Like you know my life. Yeah. And so I think Jen and I just made a very conscious decision of like, I want you to know nothing about. I want the world to know nothing about how my marriage is. Nothing. Like I want them to know that it exists, that it's there. Yeah. It's just as hard as every other marriage. It's just as fallible as every other marriage. It's also awesome. Like, it's also freaking awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it is every bit everything. And to have people commenting on a picture of Jen and I being like, oh, couple goals. It's just like, you have no idea.
Right.
We could be miserable. Like,
So my big thing is a lot of people say that shit because it's trendy. The anti-social
goals.
media, the couple
Oh,
goals,
yeah,
all
yeah.
that kind of stuff is you're stepping away because your art is too pure. And I don't think that's your thing at all.
No.
And from our conversation, the thing that interested me the most wasn't the social versus not, or putting your work out there or life out there versus staying very, very private. It was the health aspect creatively.
Yes.
So like
Yeah.
for me, I've found that the healthy side, the constantly shooting, because my job is literally to create content for tons of people.
right.
Portraits and music videos and short films and commercial stuff. So to be engaged and to talk to other creatives and to constantly be on the go and push other people, because I don't throw up something on Twitter or Instagram because I want people to keep coming back to me to get filled up on motivation. That's not the point.
Okay.
I want to be surrounded by people,
Who are
the
motivated.
16-year-old photographer who's going to push me, that listened to something I might have said randomly and 10 other people, and then went and did some shit
Yeah.
and then made my
You're like,
industry
"Oh my
better."
God.
Yeah. And that's not I think that's a little bit of vanity and a little selfish, but I get nervous when I had a meeting the other day with a photographer, really great guy, and he goes, can I ask you, do you mind how you light things? I'm like, holy shit, you're telling me that other photographers have basically told you no or not responded to you, when really,
Yeah, who cares?
who cares?
Who cares?
You should give everything away.
Just because someone can light something.
Right. They're not going to take your job. And if they do,
That's silly.
you're doing a shit job.
Yeah.
If somebody else can come in and just take your work because they figured out where your light
Your
goes. Like, you know what I mean?
secret, Your preset, yeah.
Same with you. It's if you have a drum sample that
Right.
is going to cost you all your work, are you really that good? And that's
Right.
and that's kind of what I
The
mean.
drum
is that,
sample is just that good.
yeah. And
Yeah.
the health for me is I am more motivated. I'm more excited to get up and work. I started
okay.
doing I started investing money in personal projects because the feedback from tweeting, hey, get off your couch and do some shit. We're all just trying our best.
Yeah.
The feedback was, well, I need to do more because I can push the industry forward a little bit,
Sure.
at least my circle.
Yeah.
But
And
for
I
you-
think for me it was just going. I think one, my personality, I think I crave affirmation and attention. Like crazy. It's terrible. And so it does something to my psyche to just constantly be feeding that monster within myself.
Right.
Because I'm looking for it in any cheap way. So like Jen and I realized like, oh, we're posting these cute pictures of us doing whatever adorable thing on whatever date.
Yeah.
And that wasn't necessary. Like it kind of just took away from us being here right now in order to feed a thing in me that should die. Like that ego in me should be
Purely
dead.
self-serving.
Yes. Like I'm feeling a love deficit right now rather than putting out something into the world that I feel like needs to be there. And I think that putting pictures of your relationship up, I have nothing wrong with that. But for me to get to the bottom of myself and be like, I'm not doing this to encourage people's relationships or
Right.
to let people know that Jen and I have a great relationship. I'm doing this because I need attention.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is that like that mental health point of view for me of I'm trying to find the balance in what is me actually serving the community around me, serving
Using your healthiest tools that you have
and I
available
don't
to-
think
yeah.
I figured that out. Like I think at the moment it has distracted in the last few years. It's distracted from the work rather than added to the work. Also from the standpoint of just seeing what other people are working on wasn't inspiring me in a good way. It was like I was bending my art because it was just like, oh, all these Nashville pop people are doing this cool thing with
Successful ones. are
yeah,
using-
trap hats and snaps and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And we did that. Like, you've been a part of that. And,
Mhm.
and you were very kind and gracious when we started VEAUX, like, hey, you guys should like work on the music before you decide what this is. And we were like, no, it's cool, man. We're just gonna do like what everyone else is doing, and then it's gonna
Right.
work. And it didn't work.
Right.
Like, kind of, sort of. We got the cheap affirmation side
And
of it.
Now you're back to this balance of
Yeah, I think it was learning, and
Yeah.
I think we learned a ton, and we learned how to make really slick sounding records and kind of fit into the mold of what was happening. But we came to this realization that it was just a black hole. Whereas the
Never
songs
ending.
sounded
Yeah.
good and they checked all the boxes, you would get the hype for a week and then no one cares because you're not saying anything.
right.
And so a lot of that was my anxiety surrounding social media of like, I don't know, just engaging with this thing of feeling like I needed to be something or I wanted to be at the level of whatever Nashville pop
Mm-hmm.
tart was doing. And as soon as my wife has a password on all my social media in the sense of like, after I think 30 minutes of use, it just shuts me off. Like there's parental controls on it because I won't stop. Like I'll
Mhm.
just keep feeding the monster.
Okay, so take that a step further. So you, at the core, you figured out yourself.
Yeah.
You figured out that
I'm
you
terrible.
are using social for cheap affirmation
Yeah.
and attention.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like you were giving back.
No.
Once you figure that out, what does it do creatively? Do you find that you make better shit when
Yeah.
you okay?
Yeah.
As opposed to being there are guys who literally can go out all day, have lunches, meetings, collaborate, blah blah blah, and their work, that's how they
Yeah, that's how
push
they
forward.
feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
No, I think I've been making the best stuff I've ever done for myself and for others because I'm not worried about it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think the last two VEAUX tracks that we shot videos for with you, it doesn't feel like they're super trendy, but it just feels like, oh man, that's just the guys. Like that,
Right.
it just feels so good.
Yeah.
There's a feeling about it that just feels honest, and it feels doesn't feel like we're trying to be anything.
Yeah. You notice we didn't shoot together for a long time when you were just fucking around and making stuff, and nothing resonated with me.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was just like,
It didn't seem like it was a good use of your time or mine to go create when I knew you were just throwing some shit together as best you could to keep up. And then as soon as you started it with Heart Right and You Make My Heart Go, which is
yeah,
fantastic.
accident.
Yeah, total accident. But those two videos, we went, okay, cool. This feels much better.
Yeah.
And then the visuals we create around them, everyone can get excited. So
And it came really easy.
yeah,
It didn't feel like a labor. And I feel like before, everything was such a labor because just within having a cell phone now, you can become a brand.
mm-hmm.
You can start one, you can download a couple apps, you can sign up for an Instagram profile, and you're off.
Right.
And what I realized is that it was taking my focus, my ability to make something look good or look cool or be good with words is I'm just branding myself without actually, it's commerce first, not art first.
Right.
And I would grow up listening to like my favorite bands and interviews saying like, oh, always put the art first. And I'm like, well, that's easy for you to say. You're freaking Radiohead. Like, yeah, do whatever you want. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like there's any risk. And that's not true. It's all like just a scale.
Sure.
But I just wanted to be so important and so valuable to people now. And I feel like I'm not embarrassed by anything Beau has done, but I do feel like some of the stuff that we put out first is still like looking for an actual voice.
Yeah.
It didn't have it. Now it has it. And that doesn't mean that it may radically change. Like we still may put out, songs that sound like whatever, but at least it's not, the barometer isn't keeping up with so-and-so that just got on some Spotify playlist here in Nashville. It's like, who cares?
you create more value when you're honest with branding than you do when you're trying to keep up. I don't think you listen to any Spotify playlist right now and there are 100 songs that sound like they were mixed and produced by the same person.
Right.
Sometimes it sounds like the same artist. And there are, 10 different people that have all created the same stuff. They're not, the value they're bringing is negligible.
Mm-hmm.
They're not adding anything to the people around them or to the music as a whole.
Yeah.
That's really...
Well, and you have to wrestle that down. Like, I think for me, I spent a long time just like making whatever I wanted. That's when we met in Medic. Medic just did whatever we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have 3-minute pop songs. We're going to have 6-minute ambient art rock songs. We're just going to do whatever we wanted. And I think that band ultimately, like, I think I got my feelings hurt by it because it never generated the buzz. We were never the cool kids. We were just these dudes making stuff. And I don't think I realized how much we actually did have going for us.
Yeah.
So when we moved to Nashville, rebranded, started everything new, I was just like, I just want to be in. I want to be in on the thing. Like, everyone here is doing cool stuff. And so you just your focus just gets so just shitty. It just gets so out of whack. Mine did, because my anxiety was like, well, I moved to Nashville. All of my friends came with me. We're here to, make a career out of this.
Yeah, you're the one who got us to move here.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and I think I felt a deep responsibility to like, all right, like, let's just get shit popping. And whereas I do think it was a great learning curve, I do think it distorted my voice a bit. So due to many things, I just think mentally I couldn't handle it anymore. There's just a point where just like, I'm so exhausted.
Yeah.
Like literally to the point where I was not getting out of bed for days. Like you just crumble.
Yeah.
It's not who you are. It's not.
You aren't built for it.
No. Like I think I listened to another podcast, and the writer is Ryan Tedder was on.
Yeah.
And he said something that he was like, your only shot is to be completely and uniquely yourself and to just like crush it. Like go deeper into it until you just crush it. And I think in art, there's always principles to learn, right? Like if you're going to be a master painter, you study under another master painter and you figure out the techniques and the strokes. Just like a photographer is just like, well, how do you light stuff? Like, what are you editing with? Like that stuff is all helpful, but it isn't your voice.
Sure.
Like the Sean Hagwell voice that creates those pictures can't be duplicated. Mm-hmm. There's something about it that can't be duplicated, and that's the intangible stuff.
That's interesting though, because the idea of your one shot as a whole career defining thing. You have, when you're being honest, I think personally, when you're being yourself and you're as crass or as reserved or extroverted, introverted as you want to be, as long as you stay true to that, you have unlimited shots. You have unlimited chances to keep going. And Tedder's right. You have one shot in terms of your entire career. But to fail over and over again, can you imagine not being authentic to yourself? Failing over and over again, trying to get at something. Yeah. Even you've done it. And I've been there too. And it's like, when you're being honest, it's so much easier to go, okay, I fucked that up. I'm going to try again literally right now, tomorrow, next week. And it's easier to get back up when you keep pushing for the thing you really, really want to do.
I feel like you've always been good at that though. Like you've always been, like, I was explaining this to a photographer the other day. Talented photographer. Worked with this person a couple times, and they always want to work together, but working with them is so complicated because it's just like, well, I'm going to charge you X amount of dollars for this, but then like if you use it as a profile pic, then I'm going to give you a licensing fee that I'm going to tack onto this. And then like if you decide to do this with it, then make sure that like I get paid for. It was just like I won't work with this person because they're so complicated.
Right.
I don't know, whatever that is. And I'm not saying that there isn't a business element to it, but that's never been yours and I's relationship.
Yeah.
Like most of the time it's like, hey, are you free today? You want to come over and shoot?
Yeah. Money is never a thought when it
Well,
comes to friends.
how do you get there though? Like to a photographer there are so many photographers that follow you and want to be you and just assume that you're making $1 million a shoot.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to that place? Were you making money at first? Was that a concern at first? Or from the get-go, was it just, I'm going to just shoot stuff?
I was more to my own detriment as a business person. And knowing that if you sit there and bicker about licensing and stuff, my priority was always, I can make money other ways if I need to. Fortunately, things
like getting another job.
Yeah, and I can. My priority is to basically be able to say, I want to photograph this person. So the working with me is so easy and so uncomplicated for a label, even if they have a huge budget, or you who's just basically doing self-funded indie stuff.
Right.
I'd rather be making content and not get paid because it pushes me forward. But
how do you explain that to the budding photographer when they're like, I need money?
Okay,
what would you say?
Go get a fucking job until you can make it sustainable. And I'm very open and honest about this. I do full production budget stuff. We'll do large scale music videos, short films, all this kind of stuff. But I will still, if somebody sends me a song and it goes, I really need a music video for it. I have $300.
Right.
Can we figure it out? Great. You're not going to get the crew. You're going to get myself and Kirsten with a camera, and I will make it look as good as I can.
Right.
But it's Thursday. It's Thursday. I have nothing else to do. I am more than happy to make content and help you share what I think is a good piece of content. So if your song's really good, that's the priority. The song's good enough. I don't care if it's going to blow up, if it's going to be a #1 single, or if it's going to get lost on a Spotify mix, 100 songs down.
Yeah.
It's the explanation to a photographer. If you fucking love what you do, you will do it, paid, not paid, and you will find a way to sustain yourself in the intermediary time.
Yeah.
So if you have to get a part-time job and work 5 hours a day, 4 days a week, every minute you're not working that job, you should be out shooting something, making something. And eventually, listen, there's so much work out there, and this as a producer. Ugh. There are dozens and dozens of people that need photos a week, that need songs a week. We are cranking out content faster than any other generation in history. There's work. You just have to be willing to, not fucking annoy a creative director and go, yeah, I can do that shoot for you, but licensing for this, this, and this is going to be this set price. They don't want to deal with that. That's not the market anymore.
Right.
A photo goes on Instagram. They don't want to pay a licensing fee every time it goes on Twitter or the artist's online store.
As soon as, and there's a couple photographers like that I've run into, I just glaze over.
Yeah.
I can't keep it straight. Like, I think
you lose sight of the fun when you start nickel and diming yourself creatively. Because then you go, well, I'm only going to try this hard because they're only paying this much.
Right.
I'll do the best fucking job I can within the budget you give me.
Right.
I will spend every penny if I really love it. So I think there's a huge misunderstanding with photographers, directors, producers, musicians that go, well, when I grew up, everything was licensing and you got paid for this, and these, Annie Leibovitz and Mario Testino, they got huge paychecks for showing up and licensing. You're none of those people, first of all.
Right. That's like the main thing.
And this is a new era.
Right.
Half these people can do it on their iPhone if they really need to. They don't need you, but if you want to be in the room with X, then just fucking take the job and use that as leverage. I think the payment now is, well, I worked with them.
Right.
We got along really well.
Right.
They know so-and-so. So I'm going to get to be in the room with them and create something. And it's not about the money. It's about
Right. Like, what are your conversations to get in the room with Robin Williams? You shot freaking Robin Williams.
I know. It was literally hitting up the publicists in California who I had.
And then did
talked
you
to before.
explain to them your rates and your licensing fees?
I literally said, if you give me 5 minutes,
I will pay you.
I will. I literally did. He was in Boulder. I said, look, he's coming through. This is a long shot. If I can have 5 minutes, you can have all the images in perpetuity, use them for whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right? They go, we can give you an hour. And I said, fucking right, I can do an hour. Obviously, I shot in 11 minutes. I've talked about that a lot of time. And then I let him get on with his day. But the financial side of it was never a question. And then over the years,
That's paid for itself.
it's paid for itself many times over.
Well, and that's the thing is for me, I'm in the process of recalibrating my soul.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just not interested in feeding whatever I perceive as a black hole of creativity. So for photographers, like for Instagram models, it's just like, dude, we get it. Like, we get it.
Yeah.
Like, go do something real. Like, find a really great photographer instead of like your little brother with a phone and like taking pictures of yourself in a bikini. Like do it. Go into the thing, hire a stylist, put together the shoot yourself, hire the work, and get amazing photos.
Right.
Like be like we can do that now. On my end, it's TV film. Every writer in Nashville is like, hey, you want to get together and write for Sync? I've had a couple years where it worked for me. Mm-hmm. There's just only so many songs I can do that say like "Go Fight Win" in the chorus. Like it just doesn't. My barometer again, and that was part of the thing. I'm just trying to keep up with so and write a song that just like smashed and whatever could be in a hockey.
Gets you motivated for like 30 seconds.
But that's not who I am. Like, you know me. That's not who I am. Like, whereas they're cool. Like, you and I both know people that are doing so good at it. So I'm not knocking on that.
No,
but
that's their vibe.
What's happened is we've all seen those people. There's like 5 people in town that are crushing it.
Yeah.
And so everyone else is like, oh, let's start a sync project. And it's just like, yeah, because it's that easy.
Right.
Like, we just all happen to know the 5 people that are doing it really well. It doesn't mean that it's easy. And that it invalidates the work that they're putting in. Like, it obviously is really hard.
Right.
And so for me, it was like, I've had a couple years that have done pretty well in sync. But ultimately, it was just like, when I die and my children are going through my computer and my hard drive, I don't want them finding a bunch of songs, like, of me trying to get on a YoPlate commercial. Right. Like, I want them, like, finding, like, oh my gosh, Dad never released this? And it's like, but also... What started to bother me is no one was putting anything out because we don't want to put out the sync stuff. We want to put it out if it lands and gets us like a massive spot and make it look like we're crushing it.
Yeah.
So wait, it's like, so we just spent a bunch of time together writing the song. It's going into this black hole of whoever you're working with, and we're not putting it out because we're if we're honest, we're a little low-key embarrassed by mostly the lyrical content here. We're not saying anything.
Yeah.
We're saying a bunch of buzz phrases. Not saying that for everybody, but I'm saying like a lot of us that misperceive what's actually going on, that's what we think is happening.
Right.
So we write this very boring song.
Yeah.
And I've done the on the money production tricks, but nothing that came from anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so for me, it was just like, I don't want to feed that. That's a black hole to me. And it's not who I am. Mm-hmm. You talk to a guy like Dustin Burnett.
Yeah.
Zayd Wolf. Crushes sync.
Yeah.
But he loves it. It makes sense to him.
Right.
It's who he is. He's into it.
He's a rock and roller.
I am not.
Right.
I'm not. I'm not into it. I don't... The type of sync that I like was like back in the early 2000s when like I'll Follow You Into the Dark by Death Cab for Cutie came on the thing. Yeah. Like, and that's not, they didn't write that for that, but it just happened to fit the thing. And so for me, I've just had to set that desire on the shelf. I think it's good. I think it's good music business hygiene to submit your songs for TV and film. Sure. You should. But for me, it's just not something I can chase and stay healthy as a writer and as a creator. And so that's one black hole. The other black hole is the Spotify playlist black hole.
Yeah.
Of how can we get this song on a playlist?
Which everybody
You
loves.
can't control that.
Yeah.
I can't control what TV show my songs get placed in. I don't think I've been in a single TV show that I've liked. Period. I've been in a few, and none of them have been shows where I've been like, oh my God, I watched that.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the episode that my song was in because that's exciting. It will never not be. But, and then the Spotify playlist thing. It was just like, I can't control that anymore. I just can't. I'm done. It's bad business practice to be so concerned with something you cannot control. I know no one at Spotify.
And to chase that.
Yeah, I know no one at Spotify. Sometimes songs we've written have gotten on massive playlists. Sometimes they haven't. Great. So for me, it has to get back to, I can pretend like I have strategies all day in my music career. The honest truth is, I don't. I'm a good songwriter. That's the only trick up my sleeve right now.
Really good songwriter.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Sometimes. But also, I'm writing 5 or 6 songs a week. One of them is okay. Then the next week, I'll write another 5 or 6 songs. And one of them's like, oh, we're on to something. And then the next week will come and I'll write 5 or 6. And something will happen where I take a piece from week 1, week 2, and something that I wrote 7 years ago, and it all comes together in week 3 to be something really cool. And you get something like You Make My Heart Go, which the other day just randomly got on a playlist and has been getting 2,000 streams a day. But I just put it on DistroKid and put it out. Like, there wasn't a PR campaign, it just was, you know? So I think for me, I realized is like, I can pretend to have strategy all day, but really I can write a song, I can produce a song. I know people that can mix and master really well. I know you. Right. You and I are probably going to shoot for it and create a video for it. And I have a DistroKid account. And those things have made my career entirely. And it's those things that have got me work and continue to pay my bills as a producer. Right. Like, I don't make any money as a writer. I make my money producing tracks for people. But it's usually on the tracks from my bands, Medic, VEAUX, before then Saving Daylight. I wasn't getting anywhere out of that. But it's usually like a track that people are like, this is awesome. Who did this? Yeah. And most of the time it was me.
For you asked me earlier, for photographers, what would you say? You're talking music side. Yeah. So for anybody who's producing, writing, how do you justify doing the opposite of what could make you a very well-known, like, cocktail party conversation producer? Because all you'd have to do is deny your mental health. Sure. Fucking promote yourself 24/7, run ads on Instagram, right. Be handshaking with this person, that person.
And for some people, they crush that. They do so good.
But how do you... And that's how it works. That's how a lot of people, back in photography, back in the 90s, that's how you became huge. Tell somebody that's introverted and healthier when they're a little darker on socials and not necessarily posting every day, to still make that a career. Yeah. Because self-promotion is literally 90% of what we do now.
Completely. And I think it's necessary. Like, social media is not going away. I don't think not engaging with it is the best of strategies, but that's... For me, it's just become about the work of my first year in Nashville. I did, I don't know, man, like 50 plus songs of producing and writing with people and all this stuff. And most of it was for TV film, right? Mm-hmm. Most of those songs never saw the light of day, never got placed in TV. As a producer, this has been one of my most successful years financially. But it's always based on, I heard this VEAUX track and I love the way you write.
Got it.
Will you produce me? Or, and we've worked with a ton of producers like Jeff Duncan or Ruslan Adnorlov on some of that first stuff. So my strength there was not that I produced those tracks. It was that I was the writer on those tracks or the singer on those tracks, which is also valuable. But what I realized is I sat with a manager, really great manager out in Portland, Oregon. And what he told me, and there's some caveat to it, but it's everything is data. The data will never lie to you. And that changed my life in the regards of the fruit in my life, the success in my life was all coming from VEAUX, which doesn't make me money. It puts me in the hole.
Sure.
Like, touring is expensive. Putting out videos is expensive. Pay for all the things. It's a business. It's just a business. Producing tracks makes me money. That's what brings in my income. So it's like I've made 50 plus tracks for TV film that aren't seeing the light of day. For whatever reason, they're not getting placed. Some of them are, every once in a while. But I'm getting to be with these artists that are really cool and really have something to say based on what I'm doing for free.
Right.
And actually losing money on.
Yeah.
I'm losing money on VEAUX. So it's like I came to this realization of the data is telling me that if I put out 50 VEAUX tracks, are you kidding me? Like, my soul would be fulfilled. I'm making stuff with my friends, with you, Dominic, and Drew, and Jen, my wife, and I'm probably going to get a ton of work.
Based off of
That's just
doing
what the
something
data
that
says.
you love to do.
Yeah, because the songwriters that I work with are like, make me sound like VEAUX. It's just like, I can do, that's me. I am that. Instead of like, oh, make me sound like Zayd Wolf. It's just like, I can't. That dude is so good at, like, I have gone up against that dude, like, for Xbox commercials or whatever, and his track just undeniably sounds...
Just steamrolls you, right?
Yes. Like, there's no way that I'm going to even hit the mark because
Right.
it's not who I am.
Yeah.
Like, it just sounds like Kroger brand Zayd Wolf. And no one wants Kroger brand Zayd Wolf. They just want... We're coming from... Him and I are on the same licensing house. So it's like when we're coming from the same place and we're getting sent in the same email together, I lose. I lose. So it's just like, I'm going to stop playing your game, if we want to call it that. I'm going to stop playing your game. I'm going to play mine. And I'm going to write whatever it is I want to write, which is usually very minory and slow stuff. That's what my voice sounds the best on. That's what I don't know. So for me, what I'd tell a producer is like, and you've said this on Twitter as well, is like, how can a client trust you if they don't know what you would make when you're left to your own devices? Like, VEAUX is what I make when I want to make something. And so when a client hires me, they know exactly where I'm taking it. They're like, oh man, I freaking love it when you do this.
Yeah.
Because they saw me do it. They saw how it worked. And that's how I sustain my life. You know what I mean? So for me, the pullback in all of this was I would rather do 50 VEAUX tracks and go financially underwater and see where that takes me. That's the game I'm playing right now.
And that's it.
Yeah.